Desperate times call for desperate measures. We've all heard this adage before, and for many of us, it has probably come to pass in some way, whether great or small. The truth is that desperation drives us to do destructive things that put ourselves and others in danger. And when that desperate person is someone like Megabyte...
Ah! Scramble units 2 to 5. Principal office under attack. Repeat, principal office under attack.
Scramble.
Bad Bob was written by Martin Boricki and Susan Turner, with story by Martin Boricki and Susan Turner. The main cast includes Michael Benier as Bob, Kathleen Barr as Dot, Matthew Sinclair as Enzo, Tony J as Megabyte, Phil Hayes as Hack, Gary Chalk as Slash, and Michael Donovan as Fawn. Our episode goes from 0 to 100 immediately and never lets up, as Megabyte sends his fleet of armoured carriers to attack the principal office. The police force, dubbed CPU, spring into action, but they seem woefully outnumbered. They are a police force and not an army, after all. You might already be thinking to yourself, finally, why didn't Megabyte do this 10 episodes ago? But I actually don't see this as a plot hole. I think someone like Megabyte knows a full frontal attack is going to have casualties, and he would rather keep his army intact for the eventual invasion of the supercomputer he mentioned in episode 1. Meanwhile, Bob is outside Dot's diner, his car having broken down again, and Enzo and Frisket whiz by on a little hover cart made from 4 zip boards and some scrap metal. That's kind of a nice bit of continuity, because Enzo mentioned building a cart 2 episodes ago. Anyways, as this happy-go-lucky scene continues, Fawn tells Bob the principal office is, I guess, probably cut off. Bob races off to help, while Dot goes back in the diner and coordinates the CPU efforts. The action continues.
Oh boy.
Stealing the core energy.
Again.
I hope it works this time.
Yeah, he's getting so depressed.
You must hold them off at all costs. A few more cycles and Mainframe's power will be mine. All mine.
Megabytes steal Mainframe's energy? I don't think so.
Hack and Slash's exchange here is clearly for laughs, but there is a brief gaze into Megabyte's psyche here. Clearly he has felt that he has exhausted all other options. And I want to make clear that this part is really cool, and feels like a culmination of events that have come before. It's almost a direct answer to my challenge from the previous episode with its lack of Megabyte's armies. However, why does Fawn just kind of do nothing here? In Infected, when the upgrade was being installed and there was only a threat of incursion, the principal office was covered in thick armor and an energy shield. Here, there is definitely an incursion, and yet nothing. Maybe they caught them off guard and disabled the defenses? Fair enough, but a single line such as, "Megabyte, sir, we've overloaded the principal office's defense network," or whatever, would have satisfied my complaint. Anyways, Megabyte has constructed or stolen a huge energy storage tank with which he hopes to capture Mainframe's energy from the core. Again, how this works is never explained, but I admit to not caring all that much. Bob quickly disables Hack and Slash and takes out the computer that Air Doctor is working at, crushing his hands. Megabyte leaps into action to stop Bob, but Enzo and Frisket zoom in on their hovercart and knock him into his energy transformer with the core energy in it. Oh yeah, and a GameCube is landing on the principal office. Did I mention that?
ReBoot!
Welcome to one of the greatest visuals of all time. I would be okay if Bob rocked the punk jacket from now on. He gets behind the wheel of his vehicle, now a standard car with wheels, and zooms off. The game clearly being an homage to the Mad Max franchise. I mean, the name of the episode is homage too, so now it all comes together. Back at the diner, Doc gets a call from one of the CPU officers that Megabyte has corrupted the game, and strange things are happening. So apparently it wasn't supposed to look like a desolated wasteland after all. Dot orders a scan of the GameCube, whatever that entails, and also notes that mainframe is being plagued with power surges, I would assume from the fact that the core energy is currently stuck in the GameCube. Back in the game, Bob meets up with Fawn as they go cruising down the highway.
The game reality's been compromised.
Megabyte has succeeded in stealing the core energy, which is now trapped in the game with us.
Oh, great! That means if the user wins, we're doomed. And if I win, we're doomed. Mainframe's energy will leave with the game.
Again, I want to make this clear. The visuals here are just amazing, and the soundtrack is right on point. Fawn explains that the only way to not do mainframe is to retrieve the core energy, which is assumably with Megabyte, and bring it back towards the principal office. Oh, and also, Enzo and Frisket are in the game and are trying to take out the user. We get a sweeping visual of droves of bikers zipping through the wasteland, as well as a huge tank-like vehicle, piloted by none other than Sir and his butler Binky. Meanwhile, Enzo and Frisket are tangoing with the user, who is a generic black race car. In front of both of them is a conspicuous truck with a tank full of shimmering liquid. As the rich atmosphere continues to suck you in, Bob races to catch up to Enzo before he can cause too much damage.
I say, Binky, Bob's on the job. I think I'll have that cocoa now.
Woohoo! See you later! Once we pass that truck, we're in first place. Let's go! Megabyte?
Well, that's unexpected. Did Megabyte reboot as a truck? Did somehow he merge with the core energy in his storage tank? It's really cool, but as the tale progresses, I realize I understand less and less about what's going on. Hack and Slash are freaking out on top of the truck, actually crying out for Bob to save them. Bob, unfortunately, is suffering from a breakdown. A car breakdown, that is. Enzo and Frisket find him and give him a ride back towards what Enzo dubs the Mega Truck. Bob has to ride in the back seat because Frisket is unwilling to move. Bob climbs aboard and Hack and Slash are relieved to see him, mentioning that the boss has gone crazy. So Megabyte is controlling himself then? But why is he just driving in a straight line? Anyways, Bob gets them to scoot on by and he jumps into the driver's seat. In the passenger seat is Air Doctor, whining about his very injured fingers. Bob gives him a casual apology, which is nice of him since I would probably just kick him out, and proceeds to turn the truck around back towards the principal office. Bob's expert control gets the truck turned around just before it hits what appears to be the goal, and he begins his journey back down the highway. All the while, a very confused user giving chase. Meanwhile, Doc gets an analysis from outside.
What have you got for me, number one?
It's a volatile situation. Anything can happen when a game is corrupted. To make matters worse, I've calculated 29 million cycles before the stolen energy dissipates, and mainframe will be offline.
That's not gonna happen. My little brother's in there, and so is Bob.
Maybe the Guardian should have stayed outside the game to help evacuate the city.
What did you say? Bob's in there fighting for us all. When he wins this game, we've got to be ready.
Back in the game, Bob in the truck and Enzo and Frisket in their cart, followed by the user, start backtracking. But danger lies up ahead, because Sir and all those bikers are in the way. Enzo hesitates when almost pinched between them, but Frisket grabs the wheel and veers him off the road. However, Bob discovers there are no brakes, and, well, an object in motion stays in motion.
Where are the brakes?
Brakes? There are no brakes!
Okay, Binky, I think we bought it. Again, sir?
He also proceeds to pile through the bikers, which I always assumed were Megabyte's lackeys, but is never confirmed. Friska continues to steer the cart off-road to try to catch up with Bob, but eventually they fly off a cliff. Fortunately, they are rescued by Fawn in his little helicopter. With them safely off the road, Bob continues to drive the truck towards the principal office, but the user has gained speed and starts shooting out tires. Enzo tells Friska to grab hold of the user, which holds him down for a while. Meanwhile, Bob flings the doctor onto the side of the truck and tells him to get Hack and Slash to lift the connecting pin on Bob's order. The two cooperate, Bob veers out of the way, the tank crushes the user's car, and it slides into the side of the principal office just before the game ends. Megabyte's plans have been foiled, and his attack force is nowhere to be seen.
Nice try, Megabyte. Better luck next time.
This is the last time you will destroy my work, Guardian.
Megabyte, I suggest you leave.
Until the next time, Guardian. Ms. Matrix.
We'll be waiting.
You won't believe it, boss.
Well, you
it
might.
happened.
And again,
we fell to pieces.
we broke up.
It was horrible.
We might as well add, why did they let him get away, to the other little nagging questions. And that's the thing. Bad Bob is such a fun ride, pun intended, with his amazing visuals and action-packed pacing. There's no doubt in my mind that you'll have a good time. But its narrative leaves just too many holes for it to be as good as it could have been. I mentioned the questions along the way, and they don't have answers. So as a result, I give this tale 2 out of 3 fedoras.